This is my ranking list of Beachbody workouts I've done over the years. I'm going to break the video into two parts. First, my tier list on how effective I think the Beachbody programs are, and second, my ranking of my favorite and hardest workouts. I'm only doing this because it's something I've been interested in for a while, and I haven't really found anyone else who has done something like this, so I'm genuinely curious what other people think. Of course, this is just my personal list, and not to be taken too seriously, so let's get started. As for the tier list, I'm going to go in order, starting with an F tier and going all the way up to S tier. For me, I think the worst Beachbody workout in terms of an effective program to get into shape is Tai Chi. Now, I understand that this isn't really meant for extreme physical fitness, but even for what it is, I feel it could have been done much better. If someone has an injury and wants to start from zero, this could be a reasonable place to begin, but for everyone I've talked to, including myself, it was extremely difficult to finish this program. Moving up to the D tier, I would put Tony Horton's one-on-one series. When these came out, they were a fun novelty, but as an effective program to get into shape, there's really no structure. If you're a fan of Tony Horton, these might be worth getting, but otherwise, it's very reasonable to skip them. Moving up to the C tier, I would put P90X Plus at the bottom of this list. For those not familiar, when P90X came out, there was a lot of momentum to try to release a new program after its popularity soared. In the interim, P90X Plus came out before the Tony Horton one-on-ones. The problem with P90X Plus, however, is that it requires P90X, and P90X2 did a much better job of taking P90X to the next level. When P90X Plus first came out, I loved these workouts, but they just haven't aged as well. If you've never done P90X Plus and like P90X, it's absolutely worth doing, but just like the one-on-ones, it's very reasonable to skip P90X Plus. Next up is a workout program that always surprised me, Morning Meltdown 100 with Jericho McMatthews. Now, in fairness, it's been several years since I did this program, and at the time, I needed something short and requiring little to no equipment. For anyone starting their fitness journey, I highly recommend this well-rounded program. However, if you're already in shape and want to push yourself further, this isn't the program for you. But if you're just aiming to stay healthy, flexible, and enjoy a shorter, fun routine, this is actually a great program and shouldn't be overlooked. Along similar lines of a surprisingly good workout is Core de Force, also featuring Jericho McMatthews along with Joel Freeman. Unlike Morning Meltdown 100, this one is more challenging and will definitely get your heart rate up. The reason it's ranked lower compared to some other programs is that I don't feel it's as well-rounded. It's more focused on cardio and doesn't have much of a strength-building component. However, for anyone without equipment who wants to try something different, this is an excellent program. In the C tier is another program by Joel Freeman called 10 Rounds. I've actually done this program twice, back to back. I think this program has a lot of potential if they created a part 2 for those beyond the beginner level. The program includes a good amount of tutorials on the moves, but after going through it once, especially twice, it becomes monotonous. Another factor keeping it lower on the list is the strength days. I think those could be improved by either adding an extra workout day or restructuring it to include 3 strength days, upper, lower, total body, and 2 boxing days. Again, this is just in terms of a program's effectiveness and getting into shape. For people who want something different and have always been a little curious about boxing, this is a good program. If Beachbody is listening, create an expert level 10 rounds for those with a punching bag, and I would absolutely buy it. Rounding out the C tier is 22-minute hardcore. It might sound weird that a 22-minute workout would be a more effective program compared to some others in this tier, but I have one word for you: pull-ups. What 22-minute hardcore lacks is in the leg department and recovery, where Morning Meltdown excelled. If you're short on time, 22-minute hardcore is a good choice, but you're not going to get into excellent shape with it alone. Now we move into the B tier, and at the bottom of this list is Hammer and Chisel. This is actually a fairly well-rounded workout routine, but I feel every other program above it does something better. If you want cardio, look at Insanity. If you want strength, look at Body Beast. If you want total body workouts, look at P90X3. It seems like Hammer and Chisel tried to combine aspects from other routines, and although it does a decent job, it falls short of being a program I would ever care to do again. However, I still incorporate a couple of the total body workouts from it every now and then. Next on the list is Insanity Asylum 2. This is a program that, by itself, I feel falls far short of its predecessor. When combined with Insanity Asylum 1, it complements it very well, but as a standalone workout program, I don't think it holds up. Now we're starting to get into the programs that I do fairly frequently. A program that I think holds up very well, especially if you don't have any equipment and have limited time, is Insanity Max 30. This is actually a program I do frequently when I'm on the road, staying at a hotel without a gym, or where the gym is too crowded. That said, as a standalone workout program, it lacks in the strength department, and that's what keeps it lower on the list. Next up is Lift 4. This is a very well-rounded program, but I usually modify it to be more intense because I feel the way it's designed isn't quite hard enough. I love the structure of this workout program, but a lot of that is probably due to my kinesiology background, as we had some similar programs. The way this program could be improved to reach A or S tier is by adding pull-ups, improving the total body workouts to include weights, making it a 5-day workout program, and incorporating better recovery. Lately, a modified version of Joel's Lift 4 is the program I do most often, where I usually do 3 days on and 1 day off, either just rotating through his schedule faster or adding in a different total body workout. And pull-ups. That said, I really like this program and think it could easily be improved for people like me. Next on the B tier list is P90X3. As far as being a well-rounded program to get someone into shape in 30 minutes, this is close to as good as it gets. I think where it falls short is in some of its creativity. Sometimes sticking with the basics is better than trying to break the mold. I always felt that Tony Horton didn't have the best leg workouts, and P90X3 is no exception. Just compare lift 4 legs with eccentric lower, and you'll know what I'm talking about. The same goes for his cardio. Just compare any P90X cardio to a Shaun T workout. That said, if you want a 30-minute workout plan that you could do for the rest of your life and stay healthy and in shape, this is a pretty good program. And now we're getting into the A tier. These programs, I feel, are almost perfect but just need 1 or 2 small tweaks before reaching that level. Starting off the A tier list is Body Beast. Overall, this is a good program for anyone wanting an introduction to bodybuilding. I am by no means a bodybuilder and value a fit and active lifestyle over pure strength, but I do understand the value of being strong. For those less interested in cardio and more into lifting weights, this is a great program. However, I would still emphasize that if it had more cardio days and more variety in the cardio, it would be a perfect workout program, especially with some of the additional workouts like Tempo and Beast Up. Next on my list is the original Insanity. If your goal is to get into shape, this program will absolutely do it. It is, as the name implies, insanely difficult and not for the faint of heart. One of the biggest downsides of Insanity is the length of the workouts, especially the warm-ups, and the limited use of weights. But for people with no workout equipment, you won't find a more complete fitness program to get you into shape, as long as you have the time. Next up is the original P90X. This is such a well-rounded workout program, and I think if you swapped out some of the cardio days for other workouts and shortened the yoga routine, it would be a perfect workout program. What brings P90X down on the list is P90X2. There are aspects I prefer about P90X compared to P90X2. For example, I don't need to do push-ups on medicine balls every time I want a chest workout, but the core, cardio, and leg workouts are so much better in X2 that it lowers P90X on the list when you see what could have been. And that's a nice segue into the next workout program on the list, P90X2. The one thing that holds P90X2 back from being in the S tier is variety. Examples of this include how similar X2 core, balance, and power feel to me. Another example is having a plyometric workout as your leg workout one day and then another back and plyometric workout on a different day. Don't get me wrong, base and back is probably a top 5 workout routine of all time for me, but it would have been nice to have one day with weights and another day without. Finally, when you look at the final block, they could have easily created 2 different PAP upper and lower workouts rather than just repeating the same 2 workouts for almost an entire month. This wasn't much of a problem until workouts like 6 weeks of the work came out. Now moving on to the S tier, we have Insanity Asylum Volume 1. If you had 7 days to do the hardest and most complete workout routine of your life, this might be it. The only thing holding it back from being at the top is that, just like with P90X2, there isn't much variety after that first week. But it is such a fun and engaging week, you won't mind repeating it a few times. At the top of our list, as far as the most effective program to get you into the best shape for me, it has to be 6 weeks of the work. As much as I might want to argue there should be a day where you lift heavier with legs, anytime I do this program, my legs are sore the entire time, so clearly Amoyla Caesar knows what he's doing. The same goes for the rest of my body. I don't know what it is about this program, and I know I could nitpick things about it, but every time I finish 6 weeks of it, I feel like I am back in the best shape of my life. I usually will play it at 1.2x speed so I can finish the workouts in around 35 minutes, but it is surprising how well that works out. You don't get to always do all the reps, but it still gets the job done. So, if you want my recommendation on what program you should do for the rest of your life to stay in great shape, and it could only be one program, this would probably be it, at 1.2x speed. Let me know in the comments if you agree. Again, this is just for fun, so don't take it too seriously. Moving on to our next ranking list. This next list is purely subjective. These are my rankings of my favorite Beachbody workouts that I have completed at least once. At the bottom of the list is Tai Ching, and I feel no explanation is needed. Next up is One-on-One with Tony Horton. Just like I said before, when this first came out, I did enjoy them, but by the time P90X2 and especially P90X3 had rolled around, the other workouts were just much more effective. This goes for P90X Plus as well, as it's number 15 on the list. Coming in at 14 is the original Insanity. I still stand by the fact that this is an extremely effective workout program if you have no equipment, but the workouts are just so long, and I feel you can get 90% of the results with Insanity Max 30. Number 13 is Hammer and Chisel. Again, this isn't a bad workout program, but something about its design doesn't appeal to me, and I feel this is common among people who have done it. Number 12 is 22-minute Hardcore. I don't have anything bad to say about this one. It's just shorter than what I typically aim for in a workout. However, if I'm short on time, I'll still pop in one of these workouts from time to time as it's a good calorie burner. But the repetitive nature of all the workouts keeps it lower on the list. Number 11 is Morning Meltdown 100. Again, I feel Jericho does a good job creating a well-rounded workout program, but the intensity isn't really there for me. This is a workout, however, where I will use the recovery routines quite frequently, as she does a great job with them. Number 10 is Core de Force. This one is a bit of the opposite of Morning Meltdown 100. The intensity is there for me, and the different movements keep it interesting, but it's not as well-rounded as the routines ranked higher. Number 9 is 10 rounds. I like the boxing aspect of it, and enjoy that it has strength training routines, but the repetitive nature of it keeps it lower on the list. Again, if Beachbody came out with an advanced version of this with some of the changes I mentioned earlier, I think it would sell very well. Number 8 is Insanity Max 30. Again, this is a go-to for me whenever I'm on the road, but as stated earlier, it lacks in the strength department, and any routine that doesn't have pull-ups is never going to be at the top of my list. And that's why number 7 is P90X3, as it absolutely has a ton of pull-ups. Most of my workouts I try to keep within 40 minutes, but when I don't quite have that much time, P90X3 is usually my go-to routine, although for cardio, I will sometimes do Insanity Max 30 instead. Number 6 is Body Beast. Again, this is a good well-rounded program, but since my focus is more on overall fitness and not just strength, only having one dedicated cardio routine is going to keep it out of the top 5. Rounding out the top 5 is Lift 4. I should put an asterisk here, however, as I routinely do this routine in 3-day splits or throw in a total body workout at the end of the week. I will often do recovery routines from other workout programs as well. Number 4 is a bit of a cheat as well, as it's Insanity Asylum Volumes 1 and 2. It might seem strange having the Asylums this high since Asylum Volume 2 was so low in the tier ranking, but that's because Asylum 2 alone I don't feel is a great workout program. However, when used in conjunction with Insanity Asylum Volume 1, those two complement each other extremely well and have enough variety to keep things interesting. Number 3 is 6 weeks of the work. Although it might be the most effective workout program for getting into shape, for the things I personally like in a workout program, this one always leaves me wanting that day of lifting heavy. Again, my focus is on being healthy and fit, but there are just some days you want to try and lift something heavy. That's why beating it on the list at number 2 is P90X. It lacks in the cardio and leg department, but for someone who likes to go mountain biking on the weekends it's easy to skip Kenpo and bike instead. Also, for the yoga routine, it's easy to choose a different routine instead. But my favorite workout routine of all time, meaning if I was on a deserted island and only had one program, has to be P90X2. The complaints I have about it can be easily adjusted for by adding weights and changing the reps. That might sound strange, but next time you try P90X2, just add a couple of 5 or 10 pound dumbbells to balance and power for the entire routine. I also will play the videos around 1.2x speed, similar to 6 weeks of the work, limiting rest time, which usually makes the workouts around 40 to 45 minutes. And now, just for bonus, what I think are the hardest programs. In first place, it has to be the original Insanity. Not only is the program a killer physically, but the mental fortitude and the monotony of the program make it the hardest for me to complete from start to finish, which is why I have only done it twice compared to P90X, which I've lost count of how many times I've done. That said, Insanity Asylum Volumes 1 and 2 are equally as physically difficult, potentially more so compared to the original Insanity, but the variety of the exercises makes it easier for me to get through. 6 weeks of the work, I would put as the third hardest workout, and a lot of that is because you can adjust your weights to get through the workouts. This is not the case with Insanity. Number 4 on the list is P90X2. Although the cardio aspects aren't quite as demanding as the workout programs listed above, the skill and strength required to do some of the exercises exceed that of the previously mentioned workouts, and those that follow. Rounding out the top 5 is Insanity Max 30 for the same reasons why the other Insanities are so difficult. The only difference here is that it's done in 30 minutes. Number 6 is P90X and P90X Plus. If these had more consistently challenging cardio workouts, they would be higher on the list. And I'm not belittling plyometrics or legs and back, but the other cardio exercises bring these down on the list. Body Beast is number 7. The leg workouts in Beast are top tier and some of the hardest workouts I have ever done, but the other workouts on the list bring it down to number 7. Number 8 is a tie between Core de Force and Lift 4. Core de Force is much more challenging from a cardio aspect, but Lift 4 is far more challenging when it comes to strength building. It is not uncommon for me to throw in a Core de Force workout in a Lift 4 week, and I think a hybrid of these two workouts could put it in the top 5. But as solo workouts, this is where I rank them. Tied for 9th place are P90X3 and Hammer and Chisel. Both workouts have their challenges for different reasons. Hammer and Chisel is much more strength-focused and intense, whereas P90X3 has more cardio and upper body challenges in my opinion, so that's why they tie. At number 10 is a 3-way tie between 22-minute hardcore, Morning Meltdown 100, and 10 rounds, as each of them has challenging and less difficult aspects. 10 rounds undoubtedly has some of the hardest of those three, but has some pretty easy days as well. Tai Ching is too easy of a workout for me to even consider ranking in difficulty, and one-on-one with Tony isn't really a structured program, so it's hard for me to rank here. It does have some of the hardest workouts, but also some of the most boring ones too. Sorry, Tony. Lastly, I might as well do this, my top ranking of trainers. In last place, Dr. Ching, no explanation needed. Next is a tie between Autumn Calabrese and Sagi. They're just not very inspiring to me. When making this list I thought, would I want to work out with them in person? And my answer is probably not. Next on the list is Joel Freeman. Nothing to complain about, I just connect with the other trainers better. Just missing the podium is Jericho McMatthews. I just like her energy, and I find myself enjoying workouts I might not otherwise because of her. Third place is Amoila Caesar. He is very motivating, explains things well, and I feel I would definitely enjoy working out with him. Second place is Sean T. A lot of nostalgia probably goes into this, but he helps me dig deeper. But first place was always going to be Tony Horton. He started me on the Beachbody journey, changed my brother's life, and it's on my bucket list to do a chest and back routine with him. Hopefully, someone out there finds this list helpful, and if you want to put your list down below, please do. I haven't done all the Beachbody workouts, especially the newer ones, and I don't have Bodhi, so I can't comment on those. That said, thank you for listening and I hope you found this somewhat entertaining.